Hello guys, this is la.rc.doc from RC Angry Records. Well, it's actually Angry Records. I'm the moderator and my best friend Terry is the administrator. But what we're doing today is we're taking a look at an MGT 3.0. And I'm using this particular model for people that are beginning to start into nitro. A lot of them have got into electric. Well, of course, electric's easy, you know, in my opinion, it is. It's plug and go. If I'm going to run anything, I like to have a little challenge to it. But anyway, for those that don't know much about running these nitros, we're going to get a little start off today. Like I said, this is an MGT 3.0 by AE. Same maker of Thunder Tiger AE, both same companies. Little brother to the the MGT SE 4.6 and the 8.0. But when you go to start these things, first of all, when you pull it out of the box, it's best of all to check everything on the truck that it recommends. Some people come in, they have a Friday. Some people come in and have a bad hangover Monday at the factories. Check all the screws that are possible to get to. Check your lug nuts, your wheel nuts, very important. Check your head nut, your head bolts, but if they're tight, don't try to reek them down, they will break. Just basically give it a good once or twice over. And now when there's a couple different ways you can start them. It's actually, people's preference. If it's a nice hot day outside, anywhere from 80 to 90 on up, you don't really have to use a heat method. But I prefer to. My shop here is right around 60 to 65 degrees. So I have a heat blower here, and I like to warm it up to about 100 degrees, 110, so forth, right around that area. Which I have earlier. There's a few important things. Yeah, we're still at 91, so that's good. A lot of important things to have when you go to start your truck. First of all, you want a good glow igniter. This is a Hot Shot 2. I have several of these. These are pretty good. You want your tire and other item lug wrench. Mainly it's a glow plug lug wrench, but it's also for your tires as well and clutch adjustments. And a heat gun. Now these heat guns, you can prefer to go to a hobby store and get one, and they're going to charge you out to ask for it. So what I do is I go to Lowe's, Westlake's, any type of hardware store, and I paid $28 for this. It's got laser, and it's got just a shot without laser, just a general area of what the temperature is. But the laser on it will basically point you, I don't know if you can see that or not, on the head or on the back here, on where the shock tower is at, or do it on the back of the tire. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway, that points you in the direction where you need to go. Shoot it right inside the head, right next to the glow plug, not on the glow plug, but in between the glow plug and the head screw. That'll tell you what your temp is. Now, there's several different degrees between these motors, between the small block and the big block. The big blocks, people have a tendency of running, well actually they're supposed to run in between 220 to 260 tops. You don't want to push it past 260. 260 is bad to keep pushing it like that. You're going to wear your cylinder out. Your motor's going to turn to junk. You ain't going to have a whole lot of use out of it. The smaller engines here, well actually I take that back, I got that reversed. The big blocks should run anywhere from 215 to 230. That's what I would recommend. These small blocks, they turn about 10,000 more RPM, and they push a little harder, and they will run up to 230, 240. You know, I would try to keep them off of 250 and 260. They say that it's normal for them to run in between 240 and 250. I've seen some where they said 260. That's a bunch of BS. I don't run none of my motors that hot. They're just trying to get you to wear it out and buy another one. These motors, if you rich them enough and I mean rich them enough, when you give it gas by throttle, you want to see a nice solid but kind of thin stream of smoke coming out the exhaust. You don't want to be fumigating the neighbors or whatever, but that's way too rich. But you do, if you want a nice performing, good running truck, you want a nice solid little stream of smoke coming out of it. Check your temperature quite frequently to make sure it's not getting up that hot. If it does remain to get that hot and you can't figure out why, then what you need to do, if you're not familiar with rebuilding these or taking them apart and know what you're doing, take them to someone that knows that most likely has an air leak. So we want to keep them off that temperature. So anyway, I fueled it up and we did prime it. So I'm going to go ahead and see if she will run. I'm going to run in just a little bit. Like I said, this is part 1. I will do part 2 later. But let's see how easy she starts for. Maybe I didn't prime it enough, huh? I like AE. There's several different models that you can choose from. You know, AE seems to be a pretty tough model. I like Sin, a lot of other ones. Now see that when it gets hard to pull like that, don't force it. What it's done is got a little bit too much gas, and either you can loosen the head, the glow plug on it, or take the igniter off and push some out of the exhaust. Just do it easy. You don't have to get radical with it. You don't want to bust your string on your ripcord or any other thing. So we might have to loosen the glow plug. Let's see what happens. I think it should be right. There we go. Now run. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here because they don't allow us too much time on YouTube per part. There's a few things I wanted to go over with you here. Now, when you go to shut it off, it's usually best to get it close enough to the carburetor to pinch it off. That way that there's still fuel in the line, so you don't have to keep, pinching this off and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. Should take you maybe 4 or 5 pulls, and the gas is right there. She'll suck her right in. Now, when you're running it, it's best off that you always keep track of it. What I do is I'll run it, the first tank, down 1/4 of a tank. I'll constantly keep watching my temperature gun, not allowing it to get nowhere near 200. And when it gets down 1/4 tank, like we're down, almost, 1/8 of a tank, I'll watch the temp, and if it's up around maybe 160, 170, I'll shut it off. And it's best when you shut it off, that we'll go over this later on another part, that you run your piston down at the very bottom of your sleeve. And because you know what happens when metal heats up, it expands. When your metal shrinks, when it cools down, you don't want your piston up in the sleeve, because if your piston's up in the sleeve and your cylinder contracts, your cylinder cannot contract all the way when it's got a piston in the way. So you run your piston all the way down to the bottom and let that sleeve contract back down to where it was factory. What that does is it keeps your pinch good, keeps your compression good, and your motor will last about twice as long as it's meant to be if you do all these things properly. But anyway, that's about it for right now, because I'm running out of my 15 minutes. But like I said, this is la.rc Repair at Angry Records. I will be doing part 2 probably later on this afternoon or maybe tomorrow. I hope that what I've done here has been helpful with any kind of information that you need. If you need any, you can contact us on RC Records or drop us an email. I appreciate you watching. Have a good day.